$86,400 to train your pigeons. Well, I bet that got your attention. Well, it kind of goes like this. If someone gave you $86,400 to spend in one day, but at the end of the day, anything that was left, you had to give them back. But the next day, they would give you another $86,400. And you had that whole day to spend that. And so on and so forth. But the stipulation being, one day, he's not going to deposit it for you. But what they're really talking about with that is 86,400 seconds. That's how many are in a day. That's what we have, every one of us, every day. And how we spend it is up to each of us. We'll get another 86,400 the next day. But let's talk about training pigeons. How much of that time are you willing to spend training your pigeons? I can tell you this for a fact, based on my experience, the harder you train them, the better they do. I think they perform much better if you train them, and train them hard. And there's reasons for that. Taking your birds out 30 miles every day, getting them home, pretty good training. But I'll tell you what Kenny Oliver and I did some years ago. We decided not to race our young birds. We had a big futurity race. That was the Lou McElroy futurity race. And it was a multi-loss race. And I said to Kenny, want to win that race? Let's just train the birds. Don't race them. Let's just train them. Kenny said, okay, let's take a shot. And we trained them. The normal training out to 40 miles we did independently. Got them out 40 miles, 3, 4, 5 times. And as the race approached, we took them out to the 100-mile station. 2, 3 times a week. 3 tossing them. 2 of his, 3 of mine, 3 of mine, 2 of his, back and forth, whatever. Mixing them up, making them break. We did this for at least 4 weeks. The week before the race, I said to him, okay, let's hold them back. Let's just take it easy. These birds went through enough. They had, I can't even remember how many 100-mile tosses they had. Easily 20. The week before the race, the combine let their young birds up in inclement weather. They had a hard race. Our birds were home in the coop, resting. When we went down to ship that night, Kenny Oliver put his basket down, and people were walking over, looking in that basket, saying, my God, them birds are beautiful. Look at them. They're all shining. One after the other, 3, 4, 5 guys complimenting Kenny on his birds. We worked hard. We used a lot of our seconds training those birds. On the way home, I said to Kenny, I don't know who's going to win that race tomorrow, but it's going to be either you or I. One of us are going to win that race. Kenny said to me, Danny, how could you say that? I said, Kenny, didn't you look at their birds? They look like rats. Them pigeons will beat. Our pigeons were shining. He said, "Oh, Danny, there are a lot of birds in that race." I said to Kenny, "I'll tell you this. Of the first 10 birds clocked, they're going to be yours and mine." I was wrong. Vinny, good pigeon flyer, he had one. He was 7th. I won the race with 2 of Tommy Goose pigeons. They were 1st and 2nd. Kenny was 3rd, 4th, 5th, all the way down to the 11th position. Putting your seconds into training pigeons pays a big dividend. You got to train them, and you got to train them hard. Don't be afraid of them. We had a flyer down here. His name don't come to mind right. Randall. Randall won everything. But Randall was willing to take his young birds out 200 miles and toss them like it was nothing. He worked hard, really hard. Years ago, you seen the door. I won all kinds of trophies and plaques, average speed, everything. I put a lot of seconds into training those birds. I would go to work, get off work, drive 100 miles, toss them. The next day, toss them. My brother said to me, "Danny, you're crazy. Every day, 100 miles. The birds are going to get tired." I said, "Tired?" I said, "Let them out. They fly for 2.5 hours. They can't fly 2.5 hours training, learning something." You got to train your birds. The more you can train them, the better you do. This past year, I didn't train hard. I had to train the yearlings, the young birds, because I never raced them. I trained them out to 100 miles twice. But after the races pretty much started, I stopped training. They were on their own. They didn't do much. We had that 500-mile race, by the way. I clocked the bird on the 2nd day late. I didn't even bother to send the clock in. But I do want to tell you, the blue checker did come home. He came home on the 2nd day. The red checker is not home. The blue-white flight is not home. The dark checker cock, who I thought for sure would come home, is not home. Maybe them 3 weeks weren't as good as I thought they were resting. They looked good, and they were rested, but they weren't trained. They were loft-flown. And when I say loft-flown, I don't mean they were in the sky for an hour and a half, 2 hours. I just left them alone. Lost a lot of birds, but there's a few in there that impressed me. They're home. If a pigeon could come home from a 500-mile race without much work, road work, he's got something in him. But anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about today. How much are you willing to spend of your life training birds? If you're willing to do it, you'll do well. But there's a price to pay. Your family is important. Your loved ones are important. And they're far more important than pigeons. Consider them when you're spending your seconds. Thank you for watching.